In 1963, as he was adapting Peter George's 1958 thriller novel Red Alert to the silver screen, Stanley Kubrick realised that he would have to leave out things that were too absurd to be taken seriously. Eventually, he decided to make it a black comedy instead, and hired satirical novelist Terry Southern to work on the screenplay after Sellers had gifted him one of his books, The Magic Christian. 6 years later, Sellers starred in a film adaptation of the book alongside Beatle drummer Ringo Starr, who had just featured in the film adaptation of another of Southern's books, Candy. The film had extra material written by Sellers and two of the Pythons, countless celebrity cameos, and a pretty good soundtrack. The result? A mixed bag of insanity, psychedelia, and very few laughs. Hello and welcome to Enchanted Essays. I post new film reviews and video essays every Friday, so feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. The film stars Peter Sellers as Guy Grand, the eccentric British millionaire who decides to adopt a homeless man, played by Ringo Starr. The film follows Guy and Youngman as Guy teaches him the various things he does as his work, which primarily focuses on experimenting on how far people will go for money, and how far rich people will go for status. The plot has a sketch-style structure, and has a psychedelic proto-Pythonesque quality, which is appropriate considering both Graham Chapman and John Cleese wrote additional material for this film. However, this means that the quality is like a sketch show. It's a real mixed bag. There are two sketches back-to-back in Sotheby's that I feel very differently about. The John Cleese sketch is great, with an understated restraint that slowly crumbles. However, the scene after that is just a bit too silly. Whilst the basic premise could be the basis for several sketches, it deviates from this a little too much from time to time, leaving you to wonder what the point was in the first place. The two leads are okay, with neither performance being their best, but I do love the bits where they act like father and son. As for whether the humour has aged, I'd say it's aged pretty well when it's not being crazy, which I suppose is a product of its time. Any jokes concerning people of colour and queer people seem to be at the expense of racists and homophobes. As is the norm for British humour, both lower classes and upper classes are made fun of. I won't go too much into it here, as I think it may well be a topic for a video essay on its own, so let me know if you'd be interested in that in the comments below. Anyway, most of the humour is at the expense of people who do things for money or status, rather than poor people who would humiliate themselves out of desperation. By the way, this did end up inspiring that Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns makes Homer do stuff for money, which feels in poorer taste. The Magic Christian also doesn't have that scene with the panda that some say signals the end of The Simpsons quality. So, you know, it's got that going for it. Anyway, on the few occasions where they are working class people, they're grumpy Jobsworths like the traffic warden, so this doesn't seem as bad. The focus on how rich people can get away with things sadly makes this theme rather timeless. One thing that I can definitely say in favour of this film is that the cinematography is great, with some very lovely shots, and the soundtrack by Ken Thorne is good, especially towards the end. I love the original songs Badfinger recorded for this movie, especially Come and Get It, which is hardly surprising considering it was written by Paul McCartney. Their original song from the first scene, Carry On Till Tomorrow, is actually really beautiful, so I definitely recommend checking that out too. I definitely enjoyed this film more in the second viewing. It's not because I could see meaning through all the psychedelia like I did when I started rewatching Head, but because, well, I don't know really. I suppose I just had lower expectations. I probably would recommend something else instead of this film. Want to watch Graham Chapman and John Cleese's early work? Watch At Last the 1948 Show. Want to watch a Peter Sellers film? Watch A Shot in the Dark. But if you're further down the iceberg with either of these interests and want to explore these areas more, feel free to give it a go. It's a very uneven film, but it might be one to watch if you just want 90 minutes of swinging 60s insanity. It's probably best watched under the influence, so feel free to let me know if you've come up with a drinking game for this film in the comments. I've been careful not to reveal any of the punchlines to skits, So if you decide to check this out, hopefully there'll be a surprise to you too. Have you seen The Magic Christian? What's your favourite Peter Sellers film? What's your favourite Ringo film? What's your favourite let's have lots of celebrity cameos and throw money at the screen and call it a comedy film? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you want to watch me talk about an even crazier film packed with celebrities and great tunes, you can watch last week's video essay on how and why the Sgt. Pepper movie failed, even though it seemed like a great idea at the time. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll read and review the book of The Magic Christian. If you want to watch next week's Beatles themed video, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure that you don't miss it. If you want me to make more content like this, you can let me know by liking the video. Anyway, I need to go. I have tickets to a very alternative interpretation of Hamlet. See you soon!
Don't be late!